Picture a high earner driving a pristine luxury car to a massive suburban home. Now compare them to a public school teacher living in a modest neighborhood. The high earner looks rich, but when we audit their actual net worth, we often find a negative balance. Meanwhile, the teacher holds a seven-figure portfolio. Data from studies of over 500 millionaires shows that income and net worth are two completely different metrics. High-income professionals often struggle to build wealth because their careers require them to maintain an expensive social image, while the most successful accumulators often remain invisible in middle-class neighborhoods. Researchers call that first archetype an under-accumulator of wealth, or a UAW. These are individuals who, despite their high earnings, fail to meet even the baseline wealth accumulation targets for their age and income level. Morgan Housel points out that true wealth is the money you haven't spent. It is the unpurchased luxury goods that sit in your bank account, converting into financial options and the flexibility to walk away from a job or handle a crisis. When a person prioritizes status-driven spending, they are making a specific trade. They are exchanging permanent financial autonomy for temporary social validation. This chart shows a phenomenon psychologists call the hedonic treadmill. As the salary line steps up through raises and promotions, lifestyle expenses rise in lockstep to meet it. This process keeps the savings gap at zero, meaning the person is working harder but making no actual financial progress. That cycle is fueled by the better-off theory. Many high earners use spending to signal that they have achieved a higher social status than their parents or their upbringing. In this view, expensive cars and club memberships become essential tools for proving they belong in their new economic class. This is further complicated by present bias, the biological tendency to value an immediate reward more than a larger reward in the future. The brain is literally wired to choose a purchase today over the abstract concept of compounding interest decades from now. Present bias makes wealth building feel like a task that can always be pushed to next month. But as expenses continue to normalize around the current income, that extra capital for investing never seems to materialize. When high earners stay broke, these psychological patterns are usually the cause. They are caught in a cycle of identity spending and immediate gratification that consumes every dollar of income before it can be used to build a foundation. To find the root of this behavior, Napoleon Hill studied 500 of the world's most successful millionaires over 2 decades. He discovered that wealth building starts with an internal locus of control, the belief that you, not luck or outside circumstances, are responsible for your outcomes. Hill found that struggling minds merely wish for wealth in a passive way. In contrast, the wealthy minds he studied maintained a sober daily expectation of it. They acted from the address of someone who was already financially successful, making choices based on long-term strategy rather than temporary hope. This creates what can be called compound belief. When you act on a financial plan and see a small result, your belief in your strategy grows. That belief leads to more consistent action, which produces larger results, fueling a self-reinforcing loop. For an under-accumulator, failure reinforces a negative identity. A bad investment or a blown budget is seen as proof that they are bad with money, leading to further contraction and avoidance of planning. A prodigious accumulator sees failure differently. They treat a loss as a data point, information they can use to adjust their strategy for the next attempt. They maintain their identity as an accumulator even when the external numbers are temporarily down. Over time, conviction-based behavior reaches a bend in the curve. While the erratic mind is constantly resetting its progress, the consistent mind experiences a dramatic acceleration, where years of quiet habits finally produce visible, outsized wealth. Your mind seeks evidence to support the identity you've adopted. If you operate as someone who manages resources and builds for the future, your brain becomes highly efficient at spotting opportunities that confirm that role. Modern research shows that these psychological traits translate into a core set of mundane, repetitive tasks. Prodigious accumulators don't rely on luck. They rely on specific household management behaviors. This table from the Financial Planning Performance Lab highlights those differences. One of the most effective habits found in wealth accumulators is the frequent task of determining and tracking the household net worth. They know exactly where their capital is at all times. Conversely, under-accumulators show a much higher frequency in negative tasks, such as carrying a revolving balance on their credit cards. they are essentially paying interest on their past consumption, which prevents them from investing in their future. To fight lifestyle inflation, accumulators often follow the raise rule. Every time their income goes up, they immediately invest at least half of the increase. This forces their wealth to grow before their ego has a chance to adapt to a more expensive lifestyle. They also clearly define the word enough. By setting a specific target for net worth or passive income, they create a boundary that prevents the hedonic treadmill from expanding forever. These habits are easy for accumulators to maintain because they value the dividend money pays, the ability to control your own time and wake up every day saying, "I can do whatever I want today." You can immediately shift the expectations you hold for your financial life. By adopting the identity and the tracking habits of an accumulator, you begin constructing the mental foundation required to support a different financial outcome. Subscribe to continue exploring the psychology of money and leave a comment below with your own definition of enough.